It's just when you think about that money.
Oh, it's insane. I mean, he's got more. He's going to sign a deal that's worth more than some countries' economies.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm one of your hosts, Stacey Gotsoulias. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. With me, as usual, my co-host, Brian McKeon. Brian, it went well last night when you were recording, huh?
Do we think so?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I'm glad.
Yeah. Before we get started, don't forget, subscribe to Locked On Yankees on whichever podcasting platform you prefer. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, like our videos, hit the bell so you're notified when our videos go live. On today's show, Luis Gil wins Rookie of the Year. That's pretty exciting because, there were some rumblings that he could do it, but I just thought, someone else will probably win. And he won, so good for him. The Hall of Fame ballot came out. Lots of former Yankees, former Yankees who played for years, former Yankees who played for 5 minutes. We're going to go through them all, and even the non-Yankees, because the ballot is interesting. But first, we're just going to start calling this Locked On Juan Soto for a while, because that's basically all we're going to talk about.
A lot of popular New York radio shows are actually banning the name Juan Soto until there's actual viable news on him, because it just feels like there's rumor after rumor. But today we got real news. Today we can say Juan Soto. There was actual hardcore news on Juan Soto. He met with the Mets earlier today. I discussed it last night. But Stacey, really interesting. So there's a tentative apparent offer that was given to him. It's not really confirmed, but it kind of is confirmed. We don't really know. And there's a rumor out there that apparently the Mets are willing to go $50 million over whatever anybody else offers, which is I don't know how much I believe that offer, because why would the Mets tell him that? And that's a very terrible negotiation tactic. Why would the Mets let that be made public? That's another terrible negotiation tactic. And why would that come out now before he's met with other teams and gotten other official offers? So I don't know how much I believe that report. Also, say we don't have the Mets, right? We can say how much of a disaster they've always been and how they've always screwed things up historically, yada, yada, yada. You can go on for days. The new Mets current owner, Steve Cohen, certainly did not get to where he is in life by making bad business moves and making bad business decisions and not knowing how to handle a negotiation. If there's one thing the guy can handle, it may not be a baseball team. He could definitely handle a proper negotiation. So I don't think that Steve Cohen would allow, oh, by the way, we're willing to pay $50 million more than anybody else offers you. I don't know if he'd allow that to be leaked necessarily. So we'll see what the truth is to all these rumors.
Yeah. So it was Michael Kay talking about this, and it was Carlos Baerga, right? Mm-hmm. He was the one who was saying it. Carlos Baerga is very hit or miss. Sometimes he's right on things, but sometimes he's way off on things. So I want Yankee fans to not panic because of this. I kind of wish Kay didn't really talk about it, or at least give it any credence like this, because
he made it blow up.
Yeah, he really made it blow up. I get it. You're doing a talk radio show in New York City. The two teams are vying for a generational player, and you want people to listen to your show. I understand that. But it's just...
Also, Baerga does have a good track record with Latin players, and that's noted. He reports on everybody, but with Latin players, he tends to be a little more accurate over time. Mm-hmm. But again, like I said earlier, why would this information be public? Yeah. Why would this be made public? Seemingly, a few minutes after the meeting ended?
Yeah,
it just doesn't add up.
It doesn't, and we're going to get a lot of this stuff happening and a lot of speculation, and we're not going to know until Juan Soto announces where he's going. And you don't want to make yourselves crazy, and you don't want to think, oh, well, the Yankees are out of it if the Mets are going to do that, because we don't know if the Mets are really going to do that. We don't know if that's really what the Mets are going to offer. We have no idea. We don't know what the Yankees are going to offer. Everyone's assuming that the Yankees aren't going to offer enough, but if they're as gung-ho as they're making it seem, they will try to do everything they can to bring back Juan Soto because they saw what he did for the team, and they would be silly to not try, at least. The one mistake that the Yankees could make in the offseason is just getting Juan Soto and not addressing other things, or maybe addressing them in a way where they really don't spend any more money and kind of do a patchwork thing where they're trying to fill other positions. That would be the mistake for the Yankees. But again, it's way too early. It's before Thanksgiving. It's before Thanksgiving. We don't know what's going to happen. I don't think he's going to say anything before the winter meetings. They're not for another couple of weeks. So this is all just.
There are reports out there that Soto does plan to sign earlier than like the Harper Machado report, like years, or even Judge. Like there are plenty of reports out there that he plans to be like an early signing free agent. He wants to get it over with.
Yeah.
Let's discuss though. I think it's worth bringing up. What do you think of that rumored offer that came out? Let's say this offer is legit, right? So the offer that came out was 13 years for $611 million, which adds out to about $47 million a year. It's just above yearly what Ohtani got. And now not the $700 million, what Ohtani's actual contract worth is. How do you feel about that contract?
Well, Soto just turned 26.
So it takes you to 39.
So you're going to sign him for a long time, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So you are going to sign him to at least 39, 40. And the money is pretty on par with what I think he's going to get offered from everyone. I mean, everyone was talking about how much it was going to be. It's not that much of a shock. It's just when you think about that money.
Oh, it's insane. I mean, he's got more. He's going to sign a deal that's worth more than some countries' economies.
Yeah. And when you think about, like sometimes when you watch older baseball, like documentaries or reports or something, or they show things about free agency in the 80s, and you see them making a big deal out of a huge free agent contract. Like, let's do Dave Winfield.
It's
10
classic,
years,
right?
$31 million. That was
everyone lost their minds.
Yes, everyone thought that was absolutely insane. Now, yes, it was 80s money, but still 10 years, 31 million when guys are making 40, 45 a year. Like that's just, it's funny to think about, but it's also, when you're someone who lives paycheck to paycheck and you're thinking about how much money these guys are making, it's so depressing. You're
trying to put away a couple bucks to buy food next month. And these guys are,
Yeah,
now,
like I'm counting the days until we get paid so I can buy food because
I want to sit here and assume that the Yankees are going to have to top whatever initial offer the Mets made.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't doubt the Mets made an offer. Like I wouldn't doubt they discussed finances. Why would they not?
Right.
I just don't know if they'd allow the information of, they're willing to go 50 million over whatever deal. That makes no sense to me. But let's just say the Yankees want to top the 13 years, $611 million. And I'm just going to throw a contract out at you and see what you think.
Okay.
It may sound crazy. Our listeners may think it's crazy. I do think there's credence, though. I don't think Boris just wants to break the AAV of Ohtani's contract. I think he wants to break the whole contract. He's had a tendency to do that, which means he wants to break $700 million. Now, remember, Ohtani was 29 at free agency. Soto is 26. It's a big difference. And Soto, you've discussed this in the season, and I think it needs to be brought up again in the offseason. Soto has a game that will translate into older age. He is not a guy that's going to, fall apart. Whereas Aaron Judge, you could be a little more scared. His game might not last into his later 30s. Juan Soto's game could easily last into his 40s because he's not a power hitter, really, even though he had 41 homers this year, which is crazy. If the Yankees offer Juan Soto 15 years, $720 million. It would come out to $48 million a year. It tops Ohtani's AAV. It tops Ohtani's overall salary.
Wow.
It takes Juan Soto to 41 years old. How do you feel about that? It sounds crazy at the start.
It does.
I think
when you give out a contract, you're not worried about the final 3 years of it. Honestly, like they don't sit there and think, he's going to be 39. What is he going to? No one cares. You care about the front end of that contract. That's what you're looking at. That is.
Think about it. The first 10 years of that contract, the first 2/3 of that deal,
Yeah.
He's going to be 26 to 36. That's the middle. You're paying for all of his prime.
Yeah.
And if he's doing in his prime 41 and 110, hitting 290, that's the going rate for a player like this. I don't hate that. Like if I see that offer come across my screen, I don't think I hate that offer. I don't. 15 years sounds wild. It sounds insane.
It does. It does.
But for a 26-year-old and for $48 million a year, when you know that it's going, the salaries are going up. Like he's in what, 3 years? That won't be the highest paid salary anymore.
And he won't be playing defense for the last probably 9 years of that contract. They'll make him a full-time DH, so all he'll do is hit because they won't want him running around the outfield because he's not that great. So
you put all these pieces together. I don't think that would be that crazy of a deal. I don't. It sounds nuts when you first think of it. And I know you're going to say no athlete's worth that. I get all those arguments. But for a generational player like this, and let's just say they win 2 World Series, 3 World Series in Juan Soto's tenure here. Mm-hmm. You hate that? You hate that? I think there is an appeal as long as the money is similar. I think there is a serious appeal to him of batting behind Aaron Judge or in front of Aaron Judge for the rest of his career or for the next 10 years of his career.
For the rest of Aaron Judge's career.
Yeah. Like there is something, and let's be real too. The Yankees will find a way to find an Aaron Judge type hitter once Aaron Judge retires. That's going to happen. Mm-hmm. There is something about that for a guy like Juan Soto, that level of protection in the lineup where the Mets can offer you Mark Vientos. Like there is something to that. I think Juan Soto will value. Juan Soto knows the kind of pitches that he got this year. He had by far his most productive season ever in his 1 year with the Yankees. You know what I mean? Like if he signs that deal and he winds up doing this for the next 10 years, 15 years, it becomes there's also, and I don't want to get at Mets fans, beat right here, but it's the truth. There is something more to being an all-time great player and being a Yankee as opposed to being a Met. There just is. There is more lore and more, godlike status among the Babe Ruths and the Mickey Mantles and the Joe DiMaggios than there is around Tom Seaver. There just is. And Tom Seaver is, you can sit here and debate, one of the top 5 pitchers in the history of baseball, maybe 3 pitchers in all of baseball. Look at his numbers. But there are way more people, and look at the way in history you think of the Mantles, the Roots, the Gehrigs, the Bear. Think about how those guys are thought of compared to how, Tom Seaver's thought of. It's a different category. So I think a guy like Juan Soto will realize that. And I think Scott Boras realizes that too. He'll never admit it publicly, but I think he realizes that too.
Yeah. A lot of interesting things going on. And I agree with that. And I said that when you were talking about, oh no, what if the Yankees don't do, or what if the Mets don't do well and they try to go after Soto? I said, if you're going to compare Yankees to Mets and the lore and the history and exactly what you had just said, I had argued that at the beginning of the season. I said he would be silly.
I think there's potential they go to a stupid deal that the Yankees just won't do. I think there is something to Steve Cohen wanting to steal the Yankees superstar. There just is. Yeah. And he'll ingratiate himself with Mets fans he buys himself a lot of time if he steals a Yankee. He does. And especially if it's outbidding the guy. And I think there's going to be a level where Hal's going to say no. I just don't know what it is.
Yeah. Well, we're going to find out soon. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notifications so you know when our videos go up. Also, join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. The link is in the description. You'll get text from us. You can text us questions, comments, reactions to trades and signings. We send out lineups during the season, roster moves, breaking news, and trades then as well. So you don't have to check social media. There's a 14-day free trial. Coming up, lots of former Yankees on the Hall of Fame ballot. We're going to discuss it. I don't know about you guys, but there's something really exciting about watching basketball live. And it's not just the basketball game, but it's all the people who were there, especially at Knicks games. You see them on TV, you see them on the Knicks Instagram. And when you're at the game and you see the famous people along with the Knicks beating up on the Nets, it's a lot of fun. And with Game Time, it's never been easier to get the best tickets for those NBA games. They've got a new feature called Game Time Picks, which does all the hard work for you. So instead of searching through thousands of tickets, Game Time Picks filters out the fluff, and shows you only the absolute best deals on great seats. And if that wasn't enough, they have an all-in pricing feature. You just toggle on it and it shows you the full price up front with no surprises at checkout. You also get seat views. So if you're ever at a venue that you've never been to and you're just worried about where the seat might be, if it's obstructed or something like that, you can see a panoramic view from your seat and you'll be able to decide exactly where you want to sit. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB, that's LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Thanks again for making Locked On Yankees your first listen. And remember, every Friday is Fan Mail Friday. You can leave questions underneath the pinned comment on our videos Monday through Thursday, or you can join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club and get top priority during Fan Mail Friday. The link is in the description. As I said, lots of former Yankees on the 2025 Hall of Fame ballot and newbies, former Yankees who were newbies on that ballot. Now, some of them were Yankees for a while. Some of them were Yankees for not too long. Some of them have absolutely no shot at making the Hall of Fame, but it's fun to see these names on the ballot. First year guys, CC Sabathia, he's a Hall of Famer.
Absolutely.
Curtis Granderson,
No.
Ichiro, Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Brian McCann, no. Russell Martin, no. But good players, nice plays for the Yankees. I was at a game where I predicted Russell Martin was going to hit a walk-off home run, and he did against the Mets in 2012, and that just always makes me laugh. Because I said to my friend, he came up, it was John Roush, who had the big neck tattoo for the Mets, and I was writing for a Yankee blog, and I did game recaps, and I said, I want Russell Martin to hit a walk-off right now so I can make my headline Martin tattoos one off. And that's what I did when I got home. That's exactly what I did when I got home. Returning players to the Hall of Fame ballot from Yankees. We're doing Yankees first. A-Rod, Andy Pettitte. A-Rod deserves it. Andy Pettitte, Andrew Jones, Carlos Beltran, and Troy Tulowitzki.
Troy Tulowitzki is amazing. The fact that he counts as a Yankee is wild, too.
I mean, he does. He wore a Yankee uniform, but he wore a Yankee uniform.
Was it even 5 games?
Yeah, I think it was only 5.
Yeah, I think it was 5 games.
I think it was only 5.
Out of this list, CC 100%, Curtis Granderson, no. Ichiro 1,000%, but he's going in as a Mariner. Brian McCann, no chance. Russell Martin, no chance. A-Rod should be in the Hall of Fame. I hate that A-Rod's not in the Hall of Fame. I hate it more than Bonds, honestly. Like, A-Rod is one of the top 5 players in the history of baseball. It's stupid that he's not in the Hall of Fame. Andy Pettitte, Yankees Hall of Famer for sure, not a Major League Baseball Hall of Famer. Andrew Jones, no. Carlos Beltran, yes. I think he's a Hall of Famer.
I think so too.
I think he's a Hall of Famer.
I think so too.
And Tulowitzki, no. Even though Tulowitzki was an awesome player for a while. Yeah.
And then here are the non-Yankee holdovers. Excuse me. Billy Wagner's in his last year. I think he finally makes it. I think so.
I'd agree with you. And I watched the tail end of Billy Wagner's career. I always thought Hall of Famer. I'm actually surprised it always took this long, but he's creeped up year and year with the percentage-wise. I think he gets in this year.
Yeah. Manny Ramirez, Chase Utley, Omar Vizquel, Bobby Abreu, Torrey Hunter, David Wright, Mark Burley, Francisco Rodriguez, and Jimmy Rollins are
the names.
Are the holdovers from previous years, and then non-Yankee first-timers. Adam Jones, Dustin Pedroia, Felix Hernandez, Ian Kinsler, Hanley Ramirez, Fernando Rodney, Ben Zobrist, and Carlos Gonzalez.
The fact that Fernando Rodney's been retired for over 5 years shocks me. It doesn't feel like it at all.
Yeah, it feels like he pitched in like 2021 or 2022.
Yeah, I feel like he's still on the Rays or something. So Manny Ramirez absolutely is one of those guys that should be in the Hall of Fame. Again, won't get in, whatever. Chase Utley, how do you feel? Had big moments, played in really big games.
I think he's borderline. I think he's borderline. I think he's one of those guys that if he did make it, it would be like after 10 years and like he finally gets in kind of a thing. And it's not like a terrible.
He's a veterans committee guy. He gets in like 2046. And you're like, remember that guy? Big series with the Dodgers against the Mets. Like that's what you'll remember. Omar Vizquel, no, not a Hall of
No.
Famer. Bobby Abreu, no.
Yes.
Bobby Abreu, weird batting stance, but
No,
not
Bobby
a Hall of
Abreu,
Famer.
yes. No, yes.
You think he's a Hall of
Yes.
Famer?
Yes.
Really?
I will show you some numbers. Yes.
Real? Okay,
Yes.
I'm looking forward to hearing them actually.
Mhm.
Torrey Hunter, no. David Wright, I think David Wright could have been a Hall of Famer. If
Could
he
have
stayed
been,
healthy.
but injuries. Yes.
Mark Burley, definitely not. I don't even know how he's in the ballot. Francisco Rodriguez, I think yes. I think he's a Hall of Famer.
I think overall, don't look at the end of the career. Look at how he started and what he did when he first burst onto the scene. And I think it was a long enough time that he did really well that he should probably be in the Hall of Fame.
He's got to be in top 10 in career saves of all time, right?
But it could be a character issue.
That's a whole other argument. But yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah.
He's got to be in the top 10 saves of all time. He's got that one, 62 save season or something 62. Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. So I think he's a Hall of Famer. And Jimmy Rollins is an interesting one. You don't remember him and think the name and automatically think Hall of Famer, but look back at Jimmy Rollins, the numbers that he put up. He won an MVP in 2007. Really, really, really solid all around player. Could be a late Hall of Famer. I don't know if he's not a shoo-in immediately, but he could be one of those guys that 9th to 10th year on the ballot sneaks
and
in.
Builds up. Plus, some of the voting pool will be out by the time his later years come up, which is going to happen with some of these other guys as well, which is why I think some of them will get in later rather than sooner.
Mm-hmm. And then the non-Yankee first-timers, this list is unbelievable. Adam Jones, I don't think gets in, right? He doesn't get into you, right?
No.
Dustin Pedroia, which is just I agree with you. One of the more annoying players, though, to have your team face. I mean, wow, was he annoying. Good player, solid player, definitely not a Hall of Famer, not at all.
Wait, one quick funny Dustin Pedroia story. The Yankees were playing them in Fenway on a Fox game on a Saturday when McCarver and Buck were still doing the game. Okay. Dustin Pedroia made what was a routine play for anyone else, but because he was 3'2", it looked like someone, you know what I mean? And they would not shut up about it. And it angered my father so much for the rest of that game that, are they going to keep bringing this up? Any other second baseman would make that play. I don't understand what the big deal is. So I just
got to be what, 07, 08, something in that.
Oh yeah, it was in that
there, right?
In that range. Yeah.
That's a great story. Dustin Pedroia made a lot of really routine players made them look very, very, very challenging. I think he won an MVP 2007. I want to say, right, with the Red Sox. I know he won an MVP with them. But he was a solid player, not a Hall of Famer though.
Sure.
This one I actually think is a Hall of Famer. Felix Hernandez.
I think he should get in.
Perfect game on the ballot. 3,000 strikeouts. I think he has 3,000 strikeouts. I could be wrong on that one. But I think he's a Hall of Famer. Not very high on the wins total, which is what people usually argue with Felix Hernandez not getting in because his wins aren't that many. But he did play for a poor Mariners team for a while. I think he gets in. Ian Kinsler, no. Hanley Ramirez, surprisingly good numbers, but not a Hall of Famer. Mm-hmm. Fernando Rodney, he might have stats just because of playing for forever. Right. I could have swore he was still in the A's bullpen. Ben Zobrist, no chance, and Carlos Gonzalez, no. But really interesting list and crazy names on when these. I don't know because you went through this period of your life way before me. When is the point when you start feeling like anciently old? When you start seeing players that you remembered their full careers?
Well, now
on the ballot, right?
Now, because the fact that both Derek Jeter and I are 50 just freaks me out. Because he was 21. We were 21 when he started, and it's just, I think the first Yankee player who was younger than me, the first Yankee player in the lineup who was younger than me was Alfonso Soriano.
Wow. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. That was the first time I realized, I'm like, oh, wow. Okay. There's someone younger than me in the lineup. And I think I was 20, I was 25 or 26 at the time. And I was like, oh my God, this is terrible. And now, managers are younger than me. GMs are younger than me. Owners are going to be younger than me.
I'd have to really think to come up with a player that I can remember being younger than me. There's still not a lot of guys, but I mean, a lot of them are my age, like a ton of bricks, right? The Hall of Famer one again weirds me out because I remember watching these entire guys' careers And now I mean, it does help the Hall of Fame argument because you don't have to look up their stats. Like, the Hall of Fame to me, before you get into stats and gold gloves and how many all pro and other sports leagues, before you get into any of that, the first thing you have to think of when it comes to Hall of Fame, I honestly believe this, is taste test. Hear me out. When you hear the guy's name, if you think Hall of Fame immediately, then we can start the discussion. And if you immediately think no, you shouldn't be able to talk yourself into it. That's to me, because it has to me, like, and we should do a show on this because we really could. The Hall of Fame has been cheapened over so many years, especially in baseball, where we're now putting guys in that were like solid players back in the day, but it's certainly not Harold Baines getting in. You know what I mean? Like guys that were like nice players.
And then they're also keeping out guys who were really, really good.
Yeah. Who should be in and just don't get in.
Who should be in and don't get in. Yeah.
It's wild. It is wild. We should do a show on it over the offseason, though.
Yeah, we could do that because there are a lot of complaints about it. Now, coming up, we're not complaining about this. Luis Gil wins AL Rookie of the Year, so we're going to discuss that.
Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel. It's America's #1 sports book. Because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place all of your bets. And speaking of the NFL, Giants fans, I know a lot of you are also Yankee fans. Tommy DeVito now starting. Chicken cutlets. He's coming back into the lineup while Daniel Jones sits. So we'll see. You want to bet the Giants? You want to bet Tommy DeVito's overs? I'm sure you'll get good discounts on them this week. And you can get all those bets available all on FanDuel.com. You just got to visit it now to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's all available on FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every minute more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
So the Yankees and their fans got really great news. Luis Gil wins AL Rookie of the Year. Not that shocking, but still kind of shocking because when he won the Baseball Digest award, I thought, oh, okay, cool. He's going to win a Rookie of the Year award. That's great. Mm-hmm. And I was, happy that he made the finals with Austin Wells. That was cool. And then it comes out and he wins on Monday. It was pretty exciting.
Yeah, I was a little shocked that he actually got the award. I honestly thought they would have held back. Just because he was good for he was electric to start the year. Cooled off, was better when he came back from the injury, but still wasn't the same guy. And yet winning the award, I mean, good for him, good for the Yankees. Really puts a stamp on what an amazing rookie year that he had, especially coming off the injury. Really good job. Paul Skeens won the National League Rookie of the Year. Not really a surprise there. And also, were you impressed? I wanted to know this because did you see the video of Luis Gil celebrating the announcement in his couch in his home?
No.
Did you see the video?
No, I missed it.
Luis Gil's got full dreads now. So very impressive that he grew his hair out that quickly in a month.
Well,
I don't know how he did it.
Yeah. One stat that someone had sent to me on Blue Sky. In his first 14 starts, Luis Gil was 9-1 with a 2.03 ERA when Garrett Cole wasn't pitching. Yeah. He was the one that kept them afloat.
Him and people are going to forget too because the way his season ended, him and
Rodon, yeah.
Rodon was terrific last year too at the start. They both really saved the Yankees because of Cole.
But for Gil to do that, honestly, like, was anyone expecting Luis Gil to come out and do that? No
chance.
No.
I wanted to bring this up to you too because I discussed this yesterday on the solo show and I didn't really get to get your opinion on it. I'd like to. In my second segment, I brought up the prospect of the Yankees going after Shane Bieber. And it feels like my opinion was, why not take a flyer on him? Now, people are projecting that he's going to get a 1-year deal, like a prove-it deal. Why would you not take a flyer on him? He's 29 years old. He's won a pitching Triple Crown. He's won a Cy Young. He's had some unbelievable years. I don't see the danger in if it's a 1-year deal. I don't. I don't see how, and he's 29 years old. It's not like he's 35 coming off his injury. He's 29 years old. I'm surprised it's only 1-year deals being flirted around there. I thought it would be more. What's your feeling on it? Because I think it's a home run. And what's weird is it's going so under the radar that he's a free agent. No one's talking about it.
I like the idea of a 1-year deal, like a 1-year prove-it deal, especially coming over to the Yankees. You know, if guys come over to the Yankees and see what happened to other guys who were not much of anything, no offense to Luke Weaver, but, or even Tim Hill, you know, they come over to the Yankees and suddenly it's like, oh, and if you saw that in the playoffs, I know they're relievers, but if you saw them in the playoffs and you think to yourself, wow, I wonder what could happen if I went to the Yankees and their coaching staff worked with me on my stuff. Like, I don't understand why more guys wouldn't want to go through the Matt Blake experience. I want to go through the Matt Blake experience because I want to see what I can do with my right arm.
The odds are too they're in the playoffs. So at bare minimum, if Shane Bieber has a decent year with them, he's going to be pitching in big games in the Bronx on primetime television in October, which means he'll be seen by everybody, which is another key thing.
Right. If you have a 1-year deal, and
I don't see why the Yankees wouldn't entertain this. I don't see why the Yankee fans wouldn't want this. I don't see why Shane Bieber wouldn't want this. And I think there's a very high possibility the Guardians don't touch him because they don't like paying any of their players ever. I don't see why this it doesn't make sense to me. At least this is the one that confuses me. Why is it not getting more traction that Shane Bieber is available, that he's a free agent? Because Stacey, if he was healthy all year last year, and remember he pitched in 2 starts last year before getting hurt and needing Tommy John, and before the 2 starts he was unbelievable. He didn't give a run in either start. So if he pitched last year and had a regular Shane Bieber year where he's got 200 strikeouts and wins 15 games and has a regular year, Shane Bieber would have got a 10-year deal for $260, $70, $80 million and been one of the top paid players in baseball. How come he goes through Tommy John and all of a sudden people are projecting a 1-year deal? And I know what people are thinking. Oh, well, you don't know how he's going to be back from the injury. Except you kind of do nowadays. Like, when do guys come back from Tommy John? Name the last guy they had Tommy John surgery and his career disappeared. These guys all come back stronger now. They all come back better. Why would Shane Bieber
like
not
Henry
be one of those
Rowan
guys?
Gardner? They're
but think
rookie
about
of the
that.
year. Yeah, it's kind of crazy because that used to be the fear of guys coming back from Tommy John and not being the same. And now it's almost like you expect them to throw harder, which is like what's happening with the surgery. Are they doing something differently? Because I don't understand why these guys
a lot of them have better command. They got better spin rates. And I'm not sitting here saying that Shane Bieber is going to come back better. I don't understand why he's flying when it comes to pitchers. He's flying. I mean, in their prime, like in their heyday, like when they're on their game, I guess is a better way to say that because they're both in their prime. Who are you taking in a big game, Shane Bieber or Corbin Burns? It's not even close to me. It's absolutely Shane Bieber with the way that how good he was for the Guardians for those years. So I don't know. Like if Shane Bieber pitches all year last year and has a regular Shane Bieber year, he's signing easily for $28 to $32 million a year. How is he now projected to get? I don't get it. It's confusing to me. But if it's a 1-year deal and the Yankees are willing to go there, I can't imagine anyone having a problem with that.
Well, the only reason I wouldn't want Shane Bieber on the team is because I would constantly hear Baby by Justin Bieber in my head on a loop because I always do when someone says Shane Bieber's name. It's just how my brain works. I'm neurodivergent. I think of songs, I think of movie quotes, and I think of that's like one of the only Justin Bieber songs I know, and it's from like 15 years ago, but that's what pops into my head when I hear Shane Bieber. But no, in all seriousness, I don't see the risk in a 1-year deal. Just do it.
Yeah, and if you give him 1 year for $30 million and he comes out and gets hurt in the first week of the year, and
well, I don't know about $30 million. I mean, Juan Soto got 1 year, 31.
No, so they're actually projecting that the 1-year deal is going to be anywhere from 15 to 19 million.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
But if it's 1 year, 19 million, he gets hurt in the first year. All right, whatever, we tried. Like that, I can't imagine. I think I'd give him a 2-year deal, honestly.
Yeah,
if that's what sweetens it and makes him sign here, and also imagine it if he returns to even 3/4 of what he was. Could you imagine that rotation next year? With Cole, Bieber, Rodon, Heel, Schmidt.
Yeah.
Good.
And you don't have to worry about Nestor. You don't have to worry about Stroman. Yeah. No offense.
Yeah,
But-
Nestor could be the lefty reliever he's always been meant to be out of the bullpen.
Yeah. I'm sure he'd be very excited about that.
Yeah. Well, Boone would be.
Yeah. Boone would be very excited about
Now
that.
you'd have someone to pitch to Freddie Freeman. Oh, wait.
Ugh. Anyway, I'm still angry. How many weeks has it been? I will
Doesn't
never
matter.
get over that. If I
Nope.
live to be 100,
Let's hope.
I will still be angry about that. I will be ranting to who knows who I'll be ranting to. I have no children. I won't have any grandchildren.
You'll be ranting to well, you'll be screaming at the television in the nursing home at Aaron Boone's like grandson.
Yeah. I'll see the name Boone.
Yeah,
I'll
Aaron Boone's grandson will
hissing.
he'll get a managerial job because all his family's been in baseball forever, so he has a
His
passion for the game.
family's been in baseball for 200 years.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, on
Oh,
that note, thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen today. For your second listen, find Locked On MLB. Baseball guru Sully brings you a daily blend of humor and baseball, keeping you updated on every rumor. He also shouted out, whose birthday was it on Sunday? It was two major baseball players, and now I can't remember who they were, but I just thought it was funny that that's what his show was. It was happy birthday to those two players. So look it up on YouTube. It's there. And wherever you listen to podcasts. So that'll do it for this edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsulias.
And I'm Brian McKeon. We'll see you guys tomorrow.